know that a woman is in perimenopause? She tells you. But how does she know that she's in perimenopause? Well, if you take a whole lot of women and you ask them what it is like to be in perimenopause, you are going to get maybe some people who are sailing through it. You're lucky if you are. And then you're going to hear the frustration and the fears and the anxiety and the things that happen within your body, that some of the symptoms are so crazy that when you actually say, or you find out that this is a perimenopause symptom, you're like, how is that humanly possible? Mine have been strange. I have had phantom smells, like cigarette smoke, and no one around me smokes. And I've also, gosh, I think maybe the most frustrating one that I've sat with is like just forgetting. Like if I don't finish a sentence and someone interrupts for a second, like, if you tell me what I was to, I don't know how to go back. I just don't know how to go back. I'll arrive at the shop. If I don't make a shopping list, I am in the hugest trouble. Like sometimes I walk into a shop and I just stand there. And then the shop assistant is like, can I help you? And I'm like, if you remember why I'm here, that would be the greatest, like just the greatest form of help. I'm only now having slight hot flushes, but nothing so distressing that I have to do something about it, or that my doctors are saying I have to do something about it, which I think is frustrating, but I'm glad that I don't have the crazy hot flushes that some of my friends, my sisters have told me about, those kind of things. But what's happened with me and perimenopause has been extremely emotionally challenging. And mine's been all around my weight. If you go back and you have a look, maybe if you search me on YouTube, you will find videos where I am extremely, extremely overweight. I really pride myself in having taken a good number of years to lose like 40 something kilos, like nearly 48 kilos of weight. And in 2024, I got to this perfect weight that I would have just been so happy to stay at. I would have been thrilled to just settle there. And it was almost like as immediately as I got there, the perimenopause like drama started. And I noticed something was wrong. I've been vegan for over, well, it would have been 10 years. I would have just hit 10 years then. I've been vegan for long. I lost the weight being vegan. I had been sugar-free for well over 12 years. All of it was just so natural to me. Like I didn't crave, I didn't stress, I didn't have to do anything about it. And then I started to want something sweet, desperately want something sweet. Whatever I tried, my frozen dates that usually worked, my chocolate that's made out of stevia, like nothing was working. It was this desperation to get like the proper hit of sugar. Same as like making a chickpea flour flatbread, which is how I would not consume a whole lot of bread. It just was not satisfying at all. And the weight started to creep up. So I took it into my own hands, did the online research that we all do, and shifted my training, and started picking up or doing much heavier weights than I had been doing, and pumped up the protein, like really and truly pumped up the protein to my absolute horror, I was just picking up weight. So eventually I ran blood tests and did blood screening and whatever I possibly could. And what came back was that the gift that perimenopause has given me is complete insulin resistance. And the only way that you can get rid of insulin resistance is to cut the carbs, cut anything that turns into sugar in your body, and like really boost the protein. That was horrific for me because I had to stop being vegan, and I did that with therapy to get my head around eating meat again. And I went vegan because I had heard about the health benefits. So, and then over time, when you don't eat the meat and you don't eat the chicken and you aren't eating that kind of way, it settled into something that I just didn't want to do anymore. So it was a big thing for me to start to eat the meat. And I did that for a while, and I was still picking up weight. So it was tests again, other blood tests again, and then there was the suggestion of going onto Manjaro. It's working for everybody else, this GLP-1, which I did with my doctor. Started off at 2.5 milligrams and went up to the 5 and went up to the 7.5 and went up to the 10. And in a year, or just under a year, I had lost nothing, absolutely nothing. Actually, I had picked up weight. And it's so frustrating because I have been around people who, when I'm having a bad day, I'll eat like 3 or 4 frozen dates, and then they're eating like a slab of chocolate. And whatever I was doing, like nothing was working. My body is just in this complete resistance, like an absolute resistance. My doctor has been absolutely amazing. She's been so incredible. She's been so supportive. And after a while, she said to me, this Manjaro isn't working. They're discovering that more and more people are actually non-responders. So I came off of that. And in the process of all of this happening, the one thing that I was fine with was that I was picking up weight completely in the perimenopause areas, like around my waist, around my belly. But the rest of me still felt good. And it's made me get quieter over time. I absolutely know that it's made me get quieter over time. And I've dipped off from doing social media. I've dipped off from blogging. So and podcasting. So if you have a look, you're going to see that there's a gap. And now that I'm back and I'm taking pictures and I'm doing videos like this, I'm like, I can see it in my face. I can see it in my face. And while I was contemplating, do I post this picture? It was a picture I wanted to put on social media. And eventually I actually used it for something different, and I just let myself tell this honest story about the vulnerability of what I'm going through in perimenopause. Because I'm radically self-aware, I was like, can I just for a moment think about the rite of passage that perimenopause has the potential to take us as women through if we allow ourselves to do it with so much consciousness and so much awareness, to know that there are layers of vulnerability that come into this. There is patience that I don't think anybody else, I mean, what else in life makes you just have to learn this degree of patience. No one knows how long you are going to be in this phase for. Every single doctor, every process that I've been through, the response is, we've run the blood tests, your body is saying that you are through perimenopause and into menopause, but I'm not at the point yet where I've done a complete year without having a menstrual cycle. So I'm still waiting to see that. That's going to be December this year. And they're like, we don't know how long your body's going to do this for. The insulin resistance has beautifully come down, which is lovely. So I'm in this normal range. HRTs don't fix the whatever's happening in the body with the weight gain, and I'm not having other symptoms where I need to be on HRTs at the moment. So what happens if it is just this spiritual rite of passage? What happens if the needing to be calm and the unknown that this takes you to, and the relationship, this new relationship that we literally build with our bodies, with our minds, with like the whole process, it takes so much self-love and self-worth to navigate this. And I've been working with people for a long time, doing self-awareness work and helping people to become the best version of themselves. And I've worked with weight loss and how the struggle is that you return to emotional eating because you don't get to the layer of the shame, and so many different aspects. And then there's this point in life where none of the rules apply, where I've done the emotional work, and then I can go on an absolute emotional roller coaster that I don't even understand where it comes from. I'm trying to track a menstrual cycle that isn't there at the moment, because I'm trying to see if my eating is related to some kind of process, and I'm struggling to keep track. I'm not sleeping incredibly well, and yet I've come to realize that if I don't use this as a point of self-awareness, like an extreme point of self-awareness, there's the potential for it to chip away at my esteem, at my worthiness, at my ability to show up, to literally just show up, and continue to be deeply proud of myself for everything that I've done. And this is, the other thing that's so crazy is when I speak to my mom, she's like, oh, I don't remember going through any of this. I'm like, how? We're all having the same conversations with our parents, or with the generation before us, and going, why were we not warned about it? And I've heard some interesting things like, we're a softer generation, or they could handle it so much better. But I think that maybe there was just this, you don't speak up, you just carry on, and I do carry on, and it's one of the first times that I've spoken up to this degree. But I realize how important it is to speak up to this degree, especially for me, who is so determined to continue to be the self-awareness guide and the spiritual teacher, and having to navigate myself to the space of wisdom and to allow my body to do what it needs to do without feeling like I am going to emotionally just be so over it that I don't even know how to pick myself up. To know that I'm doing the best that I can do uh, with my body, and that anything else that I would do would just be going into survival mode and trying my very best to navigate out of fear, like out of absolute distress and out of fear. And the other thing that is so important is that every single woman is going through this differently, and I can't do the layers of advice. I just can't do the layers of advice. What works for one is not working for the other. It's not like flu. It's not like the chickenpox. It's not like anything where there's just this tick box response. Every single one of us is going through it differently, which is so interesting because we've got to figure a way to unite and support each other in this united understanding of what we're going through, which is so much like a sisterhood, which for me is so important, even into the astrology of what's going on at the moment. Pluto in Aquarius, this Aquarius energy is asking us to anchor into communities and find our people where we feel empowered. I honestly believe that some of this searching of where do I belong is we are going to connect with each other as perimenopausal and menopausal women. I really and truly do. So this is just a word dump. And it's also just a moment of accountability for me to promise myself to continue to show up, because if I don't, then I don't know in the world who isn't going to discover me. And I know that when it comes to self-awareness and when it comes to supporting worthiness and esteem and understanding the ego, and reframing astrology and tarot so that it's not all this crazy online noise that is carrying on at the moment, that is just giving layers of false hope and misunderstanding, that I'm not being true to you for not showing up for you. If someone doesn't discover me, that's on me. And I can't let this journey that my body is going through, that it genuinely is this rite of passage. It just has to be. I can't let it make me shy away or hide away. So if you're going through it, I'm with you. It's rough. It really and truly is. And on the other side of it, we're built for it. And getting through it, I'm really curious to see the wisdom and the resilience and the woman that I become on the other side of it. And I can't wait to see who you become either.